Hello, welcome to another Self-Sufficient Gardener podcast video. Out in the woodlot today, doing a little woodlot management. Just took down this big maple tree right here. It was kind of a task, but I'm trying to cut it up for shiitake mushroom logs. Just kind of trying to clear out this little plot of land right here for pasture. And obviously I want to do something with the wood that I cut off of it. There's a lot of standing dead wood. I thought actually this tree was dead when I cut it, or at least dying. Kind of the top had fell out of it. Come to find out it's not so dead after all. It turned into a little bit of a task to fell it, involving a come along and some pretty tense moments. But so I did a show a while back on Woodlot Management. It was actually a podcast, and I felt like I couldn't properly explain some of the techniques and terms that I talked about in the audio. So I figured it was better to just do a quick video and show some of these things. So that the maple tree I was sitting on, that's the stub that I cut it off of. As you can see, I did a little bit of a notch up front. I didn't quite do it as well as I should have, but there's the notch out. Like I said, I didn't do a real good job of the notch. It went like right there, and then once you got the notch, you knock the notch out. There's another piece of the notch, and just cut a back cut on it. And of course then it wants to fall down like this. This one was already kind of leaning, and it was a little bit of a problem because it didn't want to come down. It actually hung up. I can pan and show you exactly where it hung up. If I can get up that high. It hung up on that little tree you see right there that's at an angle, and then the other tree that's coming straight up that's right there in the middle of the view. So needless to say, I had to take out another tree over there. I think that's the one I showed that was also in the first part of the video right there. No matter, I was going to take them out anyway. It just made for a little bit of a tense moment. So this tree right here, the big maple, actually got hung up. And what I had to do is attach a come along right about there on the trunk, and then attach the other end. I don't know if you can see that wire, because yeah, I can get in there and see that pretty good. So that's the wire. I just kind of wrapped it around, used the come along to rock it, and eventually just kind of slid off of there. And luckily it didn't take me out or the come along with it. I was able to get it back out. So pretty tense, but it happens. It's not the first one I've hung up. You just got to be really careful when you do that. So the first question I often get is why cut it this time of the year, or what time of the year is best to cut. It's late October here. I like to cut in the fall. For a few reasons. One, I can actually see a little bit better where the trees are going to fall. The leaves have actually dropped, and I can see which branches are thick and which branches are thin. You know, this tree hung up. I knew it probably was going to. The way it was laid over like this, I had no real choice on which way to fell it. So I knew that was going to be a possibility, but I had to go ahead and do it anyway. But it allowed me to kind of see where it was hanging up on, you know, rather than trying to guess, is it hanging up on this tree or that tree. I knew exactly where it was going to hang up on and how to correct it once it happened. The other reason, obviously, it's a little bit more comfortable out here. I took my jacket off. It's starting to get a little bit warmer here in the afternoon. But this is tough work, so you build up quite a sweat. The cooler weather kind of keeps you cooled down a little bit and doesn't allow you to overheat as much. So that's another positive note. Again, also another reason to cut in the fall is when you cut for shiitake mushrooms. So rather than try to clear this out in like spring or summer when I can't actually use the wood for anything but burning, I can actually make food out of this wood. Cutting it here in the fall, I can take the wood, inoculate it with shiitake mushroom spawn, and get a harvest of that for several years to come. So it makes more sense for me to cut in the fall or the winter than spring or summer. But of course, it's up to everyone on what they're going to do with the wood and how to cut. A lot of people like to cut in in early spring and let the wood kind of season throughout the summer and dry out, and then split it for firewood. That's not a bad, obviously not a bad strategy either. So I'm going to start chopping this log just in the sections. The sections I've been using are about chainsaw length. So what I'll do is I'll cut it to size, and I'll chainsaw it and then kind of cut where I'm estimating. Doesn't have to be real precise for shiitake mushroom logs. It's just something I do to try to keep them a little bit regular. So another thing I'm going to show you in the video is direction of fall. A lot of people get this wrong. I know I got it wrong when I first started out with using a chainsaw. So this log right here, you got to kind of think about where gravity is going to go. When I cut this log, it's going to want to fall like this. So because it's going to do that, it's going to pinch on the bottom. So I want to cut into the pinch. So for this, a log like this, I'm going to cut straight down, right? Now, if the log had like a stump right here and it was going to collapse in the middle, like the log was going to go like this, I would want to cut up to down towards the direction of the pinch. The reason being, if you cut away from the pinch will come and pinch your chainsaw blade, your bar inside the wood, and it can bend the bar. It can get you caught up. It can cause injury. There's a lot of detriment to doing it like that. So fire up the chainsaw and I'll show you. That's pretty much what you're doing right there with that. Again, I would show you, except I don't have it, I can cut it right there. I'm going to want to cut up instead of cutting down. But that's the basic technique. So that's about the size of a shiitake log. I check it to make sure there's no dead wood. You can see my chainsaw, the saw blade itself is a little bit dull. It's starting to kind of burn a little bit. That's not a good thing, but I don't have another blade or a chain with me, so I'm just going to have to bear with it for now and cut until the point where I feel like it's not really safe to do so anymore. Not really safe to cut any time with a dull blade. This one's not super dull, but it's dull enough. I'm a little bit uncomfortable, but again, I won't take it too much further than that. That's it. Till next time, it's Jason Akers for Self-Sufficient Gardener Podcast.